David Darren's Top 5 Things podcast. A review of what we did on our morning show on Planet 93.9. My name is Dave. Your name is Darren, isn't it?
It is, and this podcast is brought to you by Nature's Treatment of Illinois. Their goal is to fully understand their clients' needs physically, mentally, and emotionally because they know it's not easy to live with a chronic illness. What's going to happen is their experienced wellness consultants will sit down with you and discuss what options would work best to make you feel more comfortable. Frequently asked questions are answered if you go to the website, and that is ntillinois.com.
Here's number one.
Number one.
Russian man has been sentenced to prison for tormenting his neighbors with horse noises.
Hello.
This guy
I can see how that would be effective.
This guy is going to prison for 3.5 years. Yuri Kondratyev, 46 years old, going to prison for 3.5 years.
Russian prison.
Yeah, that's not great. This guy was tormenting his neighbors, a belligerent neighbor going now to prison for 2 years. Yuri was torturing his neighbors with his behavior. He started out playing loud music late into the night. And as time went on and people started to complain, he decided to mix it up a little bit and just play horse noises.
Yeah, I've got some drops.
For more than 2 years, he would play sounds of horses every 2 hours through the night. And the neighbors couldn't get any sleep. For days on end, they couldn't sleep.
Boy, I bet they're having a block party.
So remember the guy who play horse noise all night long? He gone. He go to prison.
Yeah, 3.5 years of relief. But what's he got when he comes back?
This all started when his wife left him. And apparently his wife leaving him sent him off the deep end. And he decided, well, if my wife is gone, then no one on the block sleep. We listen to horse noise all night long.
Yeah, if she's going to horse around, so am I.
He would blare classical music from his stereo system into the wee hours of the morning. Then his taste in music got more aggressive. He started listening to the German industrial metal band Rammstein. Du hast mich with a horse. No. I wouldn't mind if a neighbor was playing classical music. I find that rather relaxing. But
Not at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I bet I could sleep through classical music. I'm not sleeping through Rammstein. No, that's not happening. He stopped playing music, but at that point, he started making noise by banging on his furniture and playing sounds of horses neighing. He explained to his neighbors, quote, I listen to music and horse sounds in my apartment. I also knock on the walls at night. I'll keep doing so, and I don't care if someone doesn't like it. That was a note he wrote to his neighbors. At one point, the neighbor suggested maybe he go get some help. Maybe go talk to a therapist. That didn't work out. He went to a doctor.
I know of a good one in Austria.
He went to see a therapist, and the therapist gave him a paper that said he was perfectly sane. And then he posted the paper so everybody, look, doctors say I'm not crazy. Enjoy horse noise.
Now back to the horse noises.
And it says here he turned the volume up a notch or two. You know, I was wondering, maybe I am losing how you say my marbles, but now I got paper that says I'm not crazy, you're crazy. So horse noise all night long.
So they get relief for 3.5 years, but you have to be thinking, what has he got planned when he gets back?
He's just putting a playlist together. He's in the prison library finding what is animal louder than horse?
We have to enjoy ourselves over the course of the next 42 months.
Right.
But we also have to be prepared.
It's like when you're about to have a baby and you get as much sleep as you can because you know once the baby comes, there's no sleep. Everyone is just taking naps, even when they're not tired.
Yeah. Because when he gets back,
they would call the cops. And this was night after night after night. In total, they made more than 80 complaints about this guy. Didn't have any effect because the cops would let him off with a slap on the wrist. Over the period of time, he got 3 citations. The court fined him 5,000 rubles, which works out to about $67 American. He neglected to pay the fine. And finally, enough was enough. The courts heard the pleas of this guy's neighbors, and they ordered him to be placed under arrest. He was subsequently charged not with disruptive behavior, not with disturbing the peace, but with straight-up torture. Because that's what this is.
I got a torture charge?
Hang on now. Play horse noise all night is torture now? The court in Nizhny Novgorod slapped this guy with a charge of torturing 2 people or more over an extended period of time, because that's apparently a law that's on the books in Russia. This is the first time in Russia that a person has been charged with a crime due to mental suffering inflicted on neighbors. Neighbors say, that's great that we're a part of history, but it's also great that we can, get some sleep now.
For now.
Yeah. When this guy comes back, he's gonna let them have it.
Oh, it's not gonna be good.
I'm going to rock and roll all night and party every day.
Boy, that 3.5 years flew by.
How long does it take for this guy to crank up the stereo again?
Minute 1. He'll probably do it remotely.
With the Touch Tunes app?
Like on his way home from jail.
Blaring the sounds of neighing horses. Can't imagine why his wife left him.
Sounds like a real sweetheart.
My wife is gone, so now everybody
enjoy.
Listen. Every 2 hours, on the hour... Oh, that means it's 4:00 a.m.
There's your time tone.
At the sound of the loud horse, it's 3 a.m. Yeah, I don't know how this guy didn't end up at the bottom of the Black Sea. We're Dave and
Don't
Darren.
people take falls in Russia a lot?
Well, it seems like that happens a lot over there.
Maybe he was on the ground floor.
Well, you can pick him up. You can get a couple of neighbors together to pick this guy up.
Yeah, I suppose you could take him to the top of a building.
I listen to music and horse sounds in my apartment. I also knock on the walls at night. And I'll keep doing so. I don't care if someone else doesn't like it. Knocking on the walls at night.
Yeah, the neighbors, they have to be just hoping that someone finishes him in prison.
Well, yeah. Here's the thing. You want to be loud in a Russian prison? That's not going to play.
Number 2.
Scientists very excited. They're on Mars with the Curiosity rover, and they may have detected what they're calling an alien burp. They have pinpointed the location on Mars of a mysterious source of methane. Methane is a gas that's most often produced by microbes, and they think that the Curiosity rover might be on top of it.
Who cut the cheese?
Well, see, this is the thing. You're ahead of me on this. It's methane, but they're calling it a burp. Now, I don't want to tell scientists
how to do their job?
how the human body works. Methane doesn't come out of your mouth. Why are you calling it an alien burp? It's an alien fart, right?
Yeah, all those cow farts is what's causing trouble.
Right.
I mean, not on Mars. There are no Martian cows that I know of.
Well, we haven't detected them yet. Since the Curiosity rover landed in 2012, the detection systems have been pinged by methane a handful of times, but they weren't able to find a source. But now they have traced the methane burps to their origin.
Can you imagine how pricey that would be? Martian beef.
It's
Look at the marbling.
and the other thing is, it doesn't even taste that great. You're just paying for the shipping from Mars.
Oh my God, the shipping.
This isn't
It's
any better than
outrageous.
Earth beef. They say there's an active emission region to the west and southwest of the Curiosity rover, and they're excited. Almost all of the methane here on Earth has biological origins. So if there's methane on Mars, that could mean that there's life on Mars. Lenin's on sale again. Even if the methane is coming from something that's not alive, it could point to a geological activity that is closely tied to the presence of liquid water. Finding water on Mars wouldn't be a bad idea either. So either there's life on Mars or water, potentially, with these, what they're calling Martian burps.
All we know is something stinks.
Right. Imagine you fly all that way to Mars,
Ugh.
and it's like, ugh, the whole planet smells like farts. Meanwhile, back on Earth,
That's what they should have called this place. Planet of the Farts.
back on Earth, a new fart vacuum, which claims to reduce the smell of vacuum of flatulence. This thing's selling like hotcakes.
Yeah.
A fart vacuum. They call it the Fart Vac, and it's a hand-operated air pump that utilizes an activated carbon filter.
Yeah. Don't draw any attention to yourself with the fart vac. Excuse me.
Fart Vac is the world's first fart vacuum and filtering system using a hand-activated air pump and activated carbon filter. Fart Vac reduces the stench of flatulence. It's time to align norms and manners to what is healthy. You can now fart without shame, no more pain while fighting nature and holding in gas.
What they're saying is it's time to grow up, kids.
Well, I can't wait for the commercial for this. Where it's like in black and white, somebody farting at a table and everybody making faces. How many times has this happened to you? The farting, the smells, the shame. Now there's Fart Vac.
Get the second one free.
Just pay shipping and handling.
Uh-huh.
It says here, you can now fart without shame. This
I'm already doing that.
It's a great gift for the gassy people in your life. The vacuum removes the fart gas under your clothing and filters it with activated carbon technology.
Yeah, that's the perfect gift to get somebody.
It says that farts are trapped in our clothes and don't escape the fibers of your clothes for about 5 seconds. And that, you see, is the time the Fart Vac acts and filters it out. So from the time you fart until people smell it, there's like a 5-second window where it's being held in by your clothes.
So you're not actually trying to catch the fart. You're just vacuuming the fart out of the clothes? What? Act fast.
So you put the nozzle down your pants. So
So you're not farting into the vacuum? You're using the vacuum after the fact?
No, in fact, I'm glad you mentioned that. It says, do not insert any part of this product in your body. External use only. You have the Fart Vac. It's got a nozzle. You let one rip. Then you shove the nozzle down your pants during that 5-second window. And that's when you just start pumping away. And it sucks the fart out of your pants and into the vacuum before it goes into the air, you see. It also says here, there is no guarantee that Fart Vac will remove all of the smell from your gas.
No guarantees are being made.
They're trying to make the world a better and more comfortable place.
I was in a crowded elevator and I pulled out the Fart Vac. Boy, you should have seen the looks I got.
Well,
of admiration.
Let me ask you this. How much would you be willing to pay for a Fart Vac?
$29.99.
I can get you one for $9.99.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's just $9.99. It looks like
This isn't a fart vac. This is just a fan.
the air pump looks like, you know, in the old-fashioned blood pressure, when you get your blood pressure and they squeeze that like balloon thing? That's what it looks like. Fart Vac, the world's first fart vacuum and filtering system. Join the proud movement to embrace your body's natural functions. Fart Vac also makes a great gag or white elephant gift.
Okay, so this is not battery powered.
No, you use your hand.
It's just a pump.
Yeah, it's a hand pump, exactly. So maybe for, the person in your life who farts, and that would be everyone in your life. How many shopping days do we got till Christmas?
Not enough.
Number 3. Three.
Netflix announcing that they want to get into the video game arena and become the Netflix of video games. That seems like an interesting concept. Other people want to be the Netflix of other things. Netflix wants to be...
We're the Netflix of Netflix to begin with.
Well, we have that going for us. We're the Netflix of streaming television, and now we'd like to be the Netflix of video games. Their biggest rival is not cable or even other streaming services. By the way, while we're talking about streaming services, if I can just get on my soapbox for a minute. I was trying to watch the WWE event Money in the Bank last night. Now, WWE Network used to be its own thing. And then a couple of months ago, they did a merger or were bought out. I don't know how it works, but now WWE is on Peacock, which is the NBC streaming service. So I thought, great, I'll watch the pay-per-view event. I haven't been able to watch or enjoy wrestling because there haven't been fans in the stands, and it's been weird. Like wrestling without fans in the stands just feels like you're witnessing an assault, right? So then they did this thing where they were put like video monitors of fans reacting to things, and that wasn't any good either. So now, as of this weekend, they're actually doing WWE events in front of actual fans. And I thought, okay, it's time to get back into the wrestling. I'll watch this Money in the Bank event, see what's going on.
But this is a pay-per-view event that you've already paid for?
Well, yeah, because it was on Peacock. All the WWE stuff is now on Peacock. So my wife gets Peacock, so I'm like, great. I got the WWE. I stopped paying for the WWE network like, a year or so ago because couldn't watch wrestling. Now I want to watch wrestling. I'm watching the pay-per-view event on the Peacock streaming thing. You couldn't watch it.
Why?
It was just so glitchy.
Oh.
And it wasn't just me. I went and looked. It sounded like everybody was having problems where you couldn't watch it. It would like this and then just blank screens. And
I went around to the neighbors and said, hey.
I did.
Are you watching WWE right now? I have to assume you are.
Sorry to
Are you having trouble?
Sorry to bother you late at night on a Sunday, but are you having the same problem I'm having with Money in the Bank? Yeah, it was unwatchable. So that needs to get figured out. And also, you used to be able to like rewind on pay-per-view events. You can't. So if you get into it late, you don't get to watch what happened beforehand. There's some real issues with how this Peacock
It's just
streaming
a comedy
service.
of errors.
That's what I said, Darren. That's what I said. Well, now, the thing with Netflix is they're saying that their rivals are not Hulu or Amazon Prime. Their biggest rival is Fortnite. That video games are the thing that takes eyeballs away from Netflix.
And we
right?
won't have it. We can't have it.
Exactly. So now they have a gaming division, and they've hired this guy, Mike Verdu, who has worked for like EA Sports and a bunch of other video game companies. And the idea is that there'll be a section on Netflix that's like the gaming section.
You just go there.
Yeah. And then you'll be able to play video games on Netflix.
Video games that you don't have to purchase?
I guess. It's just it'll be part of like a different subscription, right? You pay a couple of bucks a month and then you'll have access to all of the Netflix games. This is, again, something that it will be download based, not streaming based. So I don't know how exactly that'll work, but it's going to launch, they say, in 2022. Check by Matt. That's a couple of months away. So there'll be the Netflix. Netflix will be the Netflix, not just of Netflix, but also the Netflix of video games. You'll go to your Netflix, and then you'll be able to kind of scan around. And now, are you playing with your remote control, or you'll have to buy a different controller? I don't know how all that'll work.
I want to be the Netflix of Chex Mix.
We were at a wedding over the weekend.
How was that?
It was great. They had Chex Mix there for the cocktail hour.
Is this for everyone?
It was for everybody, but it was Chex Mix that you could tell had been like, it wasn't like just out of a bag. It was Chex Mix, but they had Cheetos in the Chex Mix. which I've never seen before.
So you suspect that it's homemade?
Game changer. Yeah. And the seasoning was a little different from like Chex Mix you get out of a bag too. You know, you can tell when you get kind of a buttery taste, more of a buttery taste, you can tell that it's homemade Chex Mix. Anyway, it was a game changer having Cheetos.
Now you didn't get the Cheeto powder all over your
No. I was
your wedding clothing.
No. I was able to keep, for the most part.
I'm a big kid.
I had my ties in the Chex Mix again.
I drove here.
I'm just saying, I don't know. It had been a long time since I'd been to a wedding. In part because of everything that we've all gone through, and another part because
You're kind of past that age.
kind of aged out the point where anyone I know is getting married anymore. So this was my wife's cousin's kid that got married.
Wait a minute, that doesn't even add up.
Yeah, well, it made sense at the time. But yeah, it was pretty bomb Chex Mix. Just throwing that out there. We're gonna get caught up on.
You guys have any some sort of I don't know what you would call it, some sort of sealable bag that I could take some of this on the road with me?
I should have taken a to-go bag. I wish I had thought of that.
Now that I've started eating it, I can't stop, and the ride is a couple hours.
Four.
We have not yet gotten our first text or email wondering if we're going to be doing Cover 5 this year, but that's coming. I'm just telling you, this is a late July thing. People start to ask about Cover 5, and the answer is we think that we are.
We hope that we are.
Yeah, we're working on some things.
Yeah, because training camps are what, a week away now? I think. I think that they have like a uniform start date this year. Is it 26th or they don't?
No, I know that the Cowboys and the Steelers go first.
They go first.
Then there's Buccaneers go. Then the Buccaneers go, and then everybody is on the next.
But I think it's by within a week that all happens.
Yeah, no, it's within 3 days they all start.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Right. But that's. Is that this week or next week?
Well, today's the 20th. I thought everyone was in camp by like the 26th or 7th.
Yeah, I think that's right. So that's exciting.
And then so we'll have we got preseason games next month.
How about that? The Bears training camp starts a week from today, July 27th.
Yeah.
And those will be open to the public? They will.
But they're not in Bourbonnais anymore, right?
No, they're at Hallis Hall, I guess.
Huh.
Yeah. They're practicing in Lake Forest.
Right.
Did they leave Bourbonnais forever or just because of everything that was going on?
I thought they were done with Bourbonnais.
Well, that's fine. Wasn't that? That's just fine if they're done with Bourbonnais. I wasn't that impressed with that place. I've been to Platteville for training camp. I've been to Bourbonnais for training camp, and yeah, that's just fine.
Well, they're training camps. What are they supposed to look like?
I'd like to be more entertained.
Okay. Remember when we went to training camp at Bourbonnais and we overheard the conversation about the guy who had the big giant, he had a big giant lump on his neck and he was waiting for it to be the size of a baseball.
When it gets to be the size of a baseball, that's when I go to the doctor.
Right. Up until then.
Right. He had this massive growth on him. And somebody was saying, well, that's alarming. It ain't that bad. When it gets to be the size of a baseball, that's when I have it looked at. But I ain't going to waste my time going to the doctor till it gets to be about size of a baseball.
Yeah, if it gets to be as big as a baseball, then I'll do something about it.
That's when I go. I'm not going for this. And it was about the size of a Super Bowl. This is nothing.
This is nothing. This isn't bothering me.
I ain't going nowhere till this thing gets to be about the size of like a 12-inch softball. That's when I go. Yeah, we did not. We just overheard that conversation because he was pretty loud. And when you hear people talking about deformities on their body in that loud of a volume, you can't help but do a little bit of eavesdropping. Yes,
you hear it.
Well, I bring it up because the NFL season will be here before we know it, and there's some news about Monday Night Football. The Mannings will be working together for Monday Night Football.
Oh, yeah? Like field reporters?
No, they're going to be calling the game.
Okay, so they're both like color analysts.
I guess.
And then who's driving the ship?
Well, I don't think there is anyone driving
It's just the
ship.
two of them?
Well, this is what they're doing. On ESPN, it's going to be Steve Levy, Louis Riddick Jr., and Brian Griese.
Okay.
And then on ESPN2, you can watch the same game, and it's just the Manning
the
brothers.
Mannings.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, it'll be Eli and Peyton.
No Cooper again? God, that guy.
There will be 10 alternative Monday Night Football broadcasts.
With them.
Yeah, they'll do 10. They're not doing every game. But the deal was signed for 3 years and 30 games. So,
For the next 3 years.
yeah, every once in a while, well, I mean, more often than not, you'll be able to watch the game and just hear the Manning boys watching Monday Night Football
God,
and
I hope
commenting on it.
Archie doesn't show up.
The new partnership for Thursday Night Football, which starts next season, that's going to be on NBC and Amazon. They wanted Peyton Manning to be on Thursday Night Football, and they wanted to, I think, get rid of Chris Collinsworth, so it'd be Al Michaels and Peyton Manning in the booth.
Yeah.
And that's what they were hoping to do, but ESPN is putting this deal together so they lock Peyton down and keep him away
Blocked it.
from Amazon and NBC. Peyton and Eli's production will be on ESPN2 and maybe on ESPN Plus. They're not traveling anywhere.
Yeah.
They'll be just watching it from their homes.
Uh-huh.
So they'll be originating from remote locations. That'd be a pretty good gig.
Now-
you don't have to go to the game.
Will they be together, though? Or they're just in 2 different locations as well?
That I wonder about. The press release says fans will be treated to a mix of in-the-moment analysis, big picture NFL dialogue, knee-jerk reaction, historical perspective, and more. Peyton and Eli will be joined each week by a to-be-determined host. Iconic and current athletes, as well as celebrities, are expected to appear throughout the season. Fans will never miss any of the action, as a multi-box viewing experience will ensure the game is always visible.
Well, yeah. They always have that.
So they'll do the first 3 games of the season, and then they do 7 other games. And I guess part of that is Peyton doesn't want to have to call any games that Tom Brady's doing. The Buccaneers aren't in the first 3 weeks of Monday Night Football, so he's like, I'll do those, and then just make sure I'm not doing any games with Tom Brady. I don't want to do those games. We'll see. We'll see how that works out. It's a 3-year deal, so I hope they have, like, do you run out of stories after the second or third game? And it's just, yeah, we heard that story already, Eli. We know.
Remember how bad Dad was to us?
He wasn't bad to them. There's nothing to suggest that Archie Manning wasn't a great father.
It's all speculation.
Yeah, by you. Reckless speculation by you.
Well, that's the sort of thing you're going to get on Thursday nights. Or Monday nights. Sorry.
Knee-jerk reaction.
Five.
Have you seen this story of these girls who find out they're all dating the same guy, so they buy a bus and decide to just travel around the country? Something about this story seems a little fishy to me.
They were all dating the same guy at the same time?
Yes.
Or?
Yes.
Okay.
What's your or? I think your or might be more interesting than the real story.
Well, the way I read it was that they all shared a cheating boyfriend.
No, they were all dating the same man who was also, by the way, dating 3 other women.
Okay, but at the same time.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
it wasn't a matter of, I used to date this guy, but I found out he was cheating on me.
No.
No, this was a current event that was going on.
Morgan Tabor, Abby Roberts, and Becca King, ages 21, 19, and 18, discovered they were all sharing the same man who was also, by the way, dating 3 other women. 7 months ago, they came to this realization that they were dating the same guy and there were 3 other women. So this guy was dating 6 chicks at the same time. And they decided, well, how about we just buy an old school bus and travel the country together? They bought a 30-year-old bus, renovated it in 10 weeks, and took off from Boise, Idaho. They were on Good Morning America the other morning, and they said here, Roberts, this would be Abby Roberts, says, we went to some really cool hot springs through Ketchum, which is a beautiful area there, and then we went through the Grand Tetons, which was so much fun, and then we went through Jackson, through Yellowstone. We were just in Bozeman, Montana, and now we're back near Yellowstone. We're winging it a little bit, like we have a rough draft route, but we're not open to following it. Just kind of opportunities and people we meet will go from there.
Now, what was the movie that did this? Wasn't there a movie that did this where it was a bunch of women who found out that one guy was cheating on all of them?
No, I don't know. I don't remember.
But this is they're taking this a little bit. They're taking that movie and then also it's like that, and then Thelma and Louise
And a little bit of to Julie Newmar from Wong Fu, right? Or Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, going on here. They've been documenting their travels on TikTok and Instagram. This seems like a random thing to do, but they're doing it because their ex-boyfriend's dream was to travel around America in a renovated Volkswagen bus. So they decided, we'll do the thing you want to do, and you don't get to come with us. They're not going very fast because it's a bus. And they say the ultimate goal is to hit the beaches of California.
And how much vacation time do they have?
Well, they're 18, 19, and 21.
Okay, so they're school age still.
This whole thing seems very fishy to me. This sounds to me like...
Are they fishing for a reality show?
Well, yeah, and they're on Instagram and TikTok. So this sounds to like... First of all, how is a guy, especially with everything that was going on, say, 7 months ago, you got
dating
six
well, maybe
different...
that's how he pulled it off. Because there were times I can't
go out.
Can't go out.
Who would want to date
I know
six people?
there's no leisure in that.
Right, that's not fun.
How do you find any leisure?
Right. I understand having a side piece. I get that. I mean, not for me. Let me be very clear here.
Listen, I totally understand a side hustle.
I understand, like, cheating on someone with another person. My brain can wrap around that.
But 6 people.
But to have 6 of them at a time? This just seems to me like they came up with a story that would get them on Good Morning America and have people like me read the story and share it on the air.
Yeah.
But and the money it takes to renovate a bus,
Now, do they name the guy?
They don't.
Okay, well then that makes it even more convenient, doesn't it?
Right? Where's this guy with his story? Hey, man. Because I'd be more interested in hearing his story.
Yeah, really. He's got the interesting story.
So I dated these chicks, and 3 of them decided to buy a bus. I messed them up so bad.
Now, how did you manage all this? I've got a totally huge whiteboard.
Yeah, how would you coordinate any of that?
Whiteboard, man.
Yeah, this I'm going to call
Could
Yumbo.
be a Yumbo.
I'm going to say Yumbo right now. Like, you want to get a bus, you and your friends want to get a bus and go to the Grand Tetons in Yellowstone.
But we need some national coverage.
Right. How do we get people to pay us to do it? Mm-hmm. If we're on Instagram and TikTok, then everyone will follow our story. If you come up with a story that has a hook or an angle, otherwise, you're just 3 dames sponging off your parents while you go see Yellowstone. And look, if you're going to see Yellowstone, now's your early 20s is a good time to do it when you're not tied down to anything. I love the Tetons. I love
it.
I think it's great. I love it. But the thing is, this just seems like we found out that he was dating all of us, and there were 3 other girls. Where are the other girls? Mm-hmm. I'd like to hear their side of the story.
What are their names?
Yeah.
And what's his name?
Yeah. Yeah, this whole thing seems... I'm going to say right now.
I'm going to need some pictures of you guys with this same person.
Yeah. How does that even work? They dumped their cheating boyfriend and went on a months-long road trip together. It just seems a little... Like it seems like a movie.
Smells bad. Smells real bad.
See what I'm saying? Story here. She noticed her boyfriend, a 20-year-old college student who lives down the street from her parents' house in Boise, was texting several women and receiving flirty comments in his social media posts. She says, I had this uneasy feeling I couldn't shake. So I looked up some of the girls' names on Instagram. What she discovered shocked her. Almost all of the photos on this girl's page showed her with this guy who I thought was my boyfriend.
Glass. George Glass.
George Glass. Yeah. Well, they're friends now, bonding over this boy who may or may not exist. The women are asked that his name not be published.
Well, let's not be
because they say it's not their goal to shame him publicly or to harm his reputation.
But we do want an underwriter.
They want the focus to be on their bond instead of his betrayal. I'm going to say right now, baloney. Because if you're going to go ahead and do all of this, like if I was so scorned by an ex that me and 3 dudes got a bus together, I would tell you her name. We would name the bus her name. It would be all about the spite.
Big Lucy.
That's the name of the bus or the girl?
Both.
Is it all over, Rock?
I guess so.
I didn't think it'd be like this.
That's Dave and Darren's Top 5 Things. Thanks for subscribing to it and listening to it and downloading it. And when you get a chance, leaving a review of it on iTunes. And listening to it is our favorite thing that you do. So thanks for doing that. Patrons, we're going to have a patron show for you here by the end of the week.
Yeah, later this week we'll have one of those for you. So if you'd like to become a patron and have access to that specialty programming and really every podcast we've ever done.
Too many of them.
Oh boy, that's a lot. You can become a patron by going to nachoradio.com. This podcast brought to you by Nature's Treatment of Illinois, Tech Drive in Milan, West Main Street in Galesburg. The Milan store offers both medicinal and recreational. Galesburg is recreational only. Make sure you sign up for the newsletter and connect with Nature's Treatment on Twitter and Instagram.
Until next time, hang loose, kooks.
And you stay classy and safe, Quad Cities.
Come on, Quad Cities, represent. This is for the Quad Cities record spot. Davenport, yeah, we keeping it locked. Rock Island, come on, and it just don't stop. East Moline, yeah, they keeping it hot.
Peace out.